Hi everyone, this is your girl Nikita, and welcome to the Perfectly Powerful You podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Perfectly Powerful You podcast. I'm your host, Nikita, and I trust, hope, and expect that you are all doing absolutely wonderfully today. We'll go with perfectly splendid again and positively amazeballs. I am having a wonderful day. It is bright, it is blue, it is sunny. I just woke up from a nap and I'm feeling sprightly. There's also cake later on in my future, so I'm feeling extra sprightly. But today, as I am recording this, I have been in touch with a lot of my inner paradigms, and man, oh man, have they ever been coming up full force. So today's topic is to talk a little bit more about paradigms, about some of the 3Ds of the paradigms that may or may not come up for you at any given time, place, and or space, and to also recognize them and to overcome them. So if you are ready, as I am, to jump right into this podcast, let's look forward to the 3Ds in our paradigms. The first being delay. Now, delay is a fun one because this is when there seems to be a lot of us, and I'll say for myself up until now, it used to run rampant a lot in my life because there always seemed to be this future me that would be has more money, has more time, has more energy, and waiting for the perfect scenario because I think future me will have it all figured out. Future me will have everything laid out. Amazing. It'll be awesome. And then I can pursue whatever goal and dream I have because future me at the level of fact was not thinking that. If this resonates with you, welcome, because it resonates and it happens with everyone at some point in our life. So, delay is that paradigm that comes up that basically tells us now's not a good time. You should do it later when you have more money. Do it later when the kids are asleep. Do it later when you have the right job. Do it later when you feel less tired. That kind of thing. And delay is a sneaky one because for many of us, delay can be an hour, delay can be a day, delay can be a month, a year, 5 years, 10 years. And before you know it, that same goal, dream, and desire that you've wanted a month ago, a year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, it's still with you and it's still maybe a really big desire for you. But because that paradigm of delay was running rampant and maybe you weren't realizing what it was, now it is 10 years later and that goal and dream has still not been realized. And it can cause a lot of defeat within us. It can cause a lot of, well, I've wasted 10 years. Like now I'll never be able to achieve it. So if this feels like you, don't even worry if it has been the 10 years because what I'm going to share with you is that there is no better time to start than the present. The present now is the only time we will ever get to really take an action step in service of building our dreams, in service of that expansion, that feeling of, I've done something. And even though it is really, 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 and I'll say really, fun sometimes to feel seduced by the idea of I'll do it later. Sometimes it's nice to know that even if you just take a small action step, it's still an action step and serve it with a huge win. And I'll get into some of the ways that we can actually be able to recognize delay and serve that with a paradigm shift. But for right now, I would love to say that now is really the only time that you will ever have to serve your dream. And again, no matter how small, the smallness of your step is still a step. And a step towards your dream sends out a vibrational energy, just like when you're chucking a rock inside a lake and you see all of these ripples and they ripple, 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 ripple out, not even just on the small area where you chucked it, but out greater, 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 greater until it reaches the other shoreline. And if you know that no matter how big that step is towards your dream in the present now, it still ripples. And so, as you're getting in touch with this paradigm of delay, and maybe up until now, you made far more agreement with it than you are right now, or maybe we'll say in the future you, then celebrate yourself. I do this all the time because I know up until now, we'll use it again, that there's a part of me is like, I'll do it on Friday. Friday seems like a better time. I'll have more time. I'll have more energy. It'll be great. I'll be awesome. And everything will work out peachy keen. And then Friday comes and more things, more content comes up. And then I feel like, I'll do it the next day. And I'll say up until now, I'm going to use that often. I allowed it to become far more part of my life, whether it be at going to the gym, because there's a part of me is like, I'll go to the gym tomorrow because I'm feeling a little tired. But for me, the action step of just going, even if I only go for like 5 to 15 minutes, it's the action step of in service of my dream of health and vitality. And part of my vision statement is I go to the gym. So even if I go knowing that I'm feeling tired and I go for like 5 minutes, man, I celebrate the absolute crap out of myself because it is the act of and the feeling tone of I have a vision in mind and I know that the only time to act is in the now. And even if it's something small like going and stepping into the gym and walking right out, that step of walking to the gym, first putting on my gym gear, putting on my shoes, walking all the way or driving all the way to the gym, walking into the gym, swiping my card and saying, yeah, I still don't want to be here. And I walk right out. That's okay. Because we're training our body as well to take the step. For some people, it's even writing a book. Maybe there's been a book that's on your mind that you really, really want to write. And you're like, I'm just not feeling inspired. But the act of just sitting in front of either your laptop, if that's where you type, or in front of a book where you write, or even a typewriter where you're typing on that, the act of sitting and just typing out something random begins the flow of whatever inspiration that maybe up until now you said was not there or not present or not good enough. So, some ways that we can move past and overcome delay are getting in touch with our discontent. This is a really powerful one because our longing and discontent, if you're not familiar with what would I love, longing and discontent is a fantastic way of just realizing what's really feeling constricted in you, whether it be your health, whether it be your relationship, time and money freedom, your business. Those are four quadrants I usually touch base with when I'm doing my own life coaching because they're generally pretty distinct in everyone's life. So we'll use again health. If we say tomorrow I'll start my, we'll say diet or lifestyle change is what I prefer to use. Tomorrow I'll start my lifestyle change. Tomorrow I'll start eating more vegetables. Tomorrow I'll start drinking more water. But tomorrow will come, and what if you still don't feel like doing it? So becoming even more in touch with your discontent really means you're getting in touch with what feels like it feels so constricting to you, what feels like it's bringing you down, what feels like you've wanted it for so, so long, and it still hasn't come yet. And because you've been putting it off for so long, there's still that longing and discontent. You know where it comes in your life because maybe there's this relationship you've always wanted. Maybe there's this body you've always dreamed of having, this feeling of flexibility, more energy, more strength, or even in your business. Maybe it's just starting a business. Maybe it's having a floral shop that you've always, always dreamed of, but you've always said, nah, it's not the right time. I have too much on my plate right now, so I'm just going to push it off. But that longing and discontent will always be there until you satisfy it with either taking an action step in service of just figuring out maybe a place where you can house your floral shop, or maybe it's taking a step towards drinking more water. Maybe it's a step of putting yourself on a dating app, or going out and asking your friends saying, hey, is there anyone that you know that might be a good fit for me? Whatever it is, that fire of desire comes from your longing and discontent. So the contrast of this feeling of constriction, like I really, really want this amazing relationship. I really, really want this amazing feeling of strength and vitality. Serving that with action is important, because your longing and discontent is telling you what more there is for you to grow. And that is what we are here for. Our soul's purpose, because we are soulful beings having a human experience. We don't know why we're here. Well, I'll say there's a part of us that knows exactly why we're here, because it is far too specific for us with our DNA, with the time that we were born, the people that we were born to, with the life that we're having. It's far too specific to be circumstance that you in particular are here. So your particular longing and discontent is so, so specific to you. So becoming even more familiar with it, and I like to write it down, again, 4 quadrants: health and my vitality, my relationships, my vocation, and my time and money freedom. If there's any part of me that says, man, I'd really love to have more time in my work. I'd love to, maybe instead of working a full 40 hours a week, you know what I would love? I'd love to work 10 hours a week and make a 7-figure business. I would love that. So my longing, my discontent comes from working 40 hours and maybe making a certain amount in a year. And if that relates to you, you can write that down. And the subsequent fire to your desire comes from the question of, what would I love? Well, if I know that my longing and discontent comes from, I would not love to work a full 40 hours and only make X amount of dollars a year, what would you love? And then when you become more familiar with that, we again test the dream, and that will come later in a video, probably the next one, where we can continue to make steps towards our dream. So look forward to that. But also just becoming familiar with it, because your longing and discontent is that seed of fire that will drive you to take those steps. And if you are very, very, pardon me, very, very well acquainted with your longing and discontent, there is nothing that will not stop you, even the fun paradigm of delay, to say, do it tomorrow. Because if you know that tomorrow may never come for you, but the right now is absolutely certain. You know that you are alive because you're not dead. You don't know what is in store for you later on, but you can always make the step right now. So to help overcome delay, become very well acquainted with your longing and your discontent. Write it down, and then use your ability to see contrast with the question, what would I love? And then take an action step that feels, even if it feels so small, like your health, your relationships. It's like, well, I have a longing discontent to have this amazing, vibrant body, to feel even more energized, to feel stronger, to feel more flexible. How can I serve this longing and discontent? How can I serve my dream and goal of the flexibility, the strength, the energy? You can do that through education. So I can help with your health with saying, okay, well, I can go to the gym and I can work out. I can swap maybe juice for water. And these tiny action steps, again, serve it with so much praise. I like to give myself high fives, wiggle it into a little snake hands, come out with some jazzy sparklers, give myself a little head pat, anything and everything. Because the more you do it, not only are you kind of like training yourself like Pavlov's dog, when every time you give yourself an action step towards your dream, it's kind of like you salivate a little bit, because you're looking for that treat. You're looking for that, I did something amazing for myself. Yay me, like I'm doing friggin' amazing. And then remind yourself every single time and just keep touching base with that longing and discontent, because that continues to keep and stoke that fire of desire to continue to drive you towards actually achieving your dreams. In my life coaching, I was given a quote by Don Shula, which is what stops most people is the start. And it's because we always think that the hardest step to take is actually starting, is actually getting there. Because when we're verging on the edge of the life that we have known to the life that we are becoming, because we're becoming someone completely different when we're stepping into a different life. There's that feeling of almost like a barrier. What someone described to me is that it's almost like around you is an electric fence. And within you, you're in your safe bubble, you're in your zone, and it's comfortable and it's safe. But around you, it's like there's this tiny little electric fence that every time you want to step out of your bubble, it's almost like you get a zap. And that's what usually stops people, is that zap. And that zap are your paradigms. So we've already started with the first one, which is delay, but your other ones are distraction and dissuasion. And some of the other things that come up with this can also be feelings of fear, anxiety, not enoughness, lack density, constriction in any way. But those come up when you start to rub up against that electric fence. So become aware of the electric fence around you and just know that it actually only has the amount of power as you choose to give it. But I'm giving you the tool of awareness that every time these come up, you rub up against your electric fence and fear, constriction, doubt, worry come up, and these feelings of do it later. And again, we'll get into distraction and dissuasion. Don't worry about it, because as soon as you just take an action step, you begin to you tell yourself, you tell the universe, and you tell your energy field around you that it is actually safe to continue to take a step forward. And then you realize that the electric fence that you thought was actually around you, that was holding you in, was actually only almost like a tiny little thing to keep you comfortable, but really it wasn't as shocking as maybe you originally anticipated. And then once you actually walk through this electric fence that only existed as powerfully as you made it out to be, then you begin to broaden your awareness, you broaden and expand your feelings of comfortability, and you begin to become even more comfortable with the uncomfortable. And something else I wrote down before we get into the other ones is prerequisites for your dream. The one, opportunity knocks. Two, you don't feel ready. And three, it's not convenient to your old life. These are three prerequisites. One, opportunity knocks, and it says, hey, this is serving your next evolution of self. You are about to step into the becoming of you. Your old self, the self you said was not worthy, the self you said it's going to happen at a later date, when you're older, when you have more money, when the kids are asleep, when everything seems perfect to you. The short story is opportunity will knock when it feels the most inconvenient for you, because it only feels inconvenient to your old life. Opportunities will come everywhere, and they will come to you every time. And they will come to you probably when you don't feel like you're really ready for it. But that is exactly when you should take the step, because opportunity is life saying, it is okay that you do not feel ready right now, but trust me, because you are. And so you don't feel ready. That's okay, because life never gives you anything that you cannot handle. So sometimes when the opportunity knocks and someone comes into your life and you're like, man, I've been really hoping and putting my energy out towards this loving, amazing relationship that will help bring even more vibrancy to my life, because I feel so good about it, but this person comes in your life and they seem amazing, but you're like, I just don't feel ready for it. They seem amazing. They check all the boxes. I feel vibrant and alive when I'm with them. I feel loved and cherished, and man, like I feel like I'm growing, but there's something I just don't think I'm ready. But even though there's a part of you that says, I want this, I love this is amazing. And the other part of you says, no, not now, I'm not ready. I still have more to learn. I still have more to grow. And I just want to put it off. No, I'll leave it behind me. That's when you should take the step, because your old life is telling you that it is not safe and comfortable right now. But the new life that you are stepping into says, absolutely, let's do this. You are ready, even if you don't think so, because we're rubbing up against that electric fence. And now is the time, because you are ready, even when you don't think so. Because the more you step into it, the more you realize that you don't have to feel perfect and ready and able to achieve everything right now. At every step, every stage, every moment in your life, you are growing, because there's always a next step for you. There's always a next evolution for you. There's always more expansion. And expansion means that, yes, there will be moments of comfortability, because you're at this certain level and now you're kind of just stationing yourself at this certain level. But now there's more growth, and there's more growth. And in that growth, there is uncomfortability, there is uncertainty, there is worry and fear and doubt, and that's okay, because we know what confidence and security and safety and love and perfection does feel like, because we have the contrast of worry, doubt, fear, anxiety, all of these things. But we become so much more comfortable with it, knowing that when they do come up, and even though it doesn't feel convenient and we want to use the delay to put it off when we feel more comfortable, just know that it's actually a choice to feel uncomfortable or not. Our feeling is up to us. Circumstances do not dictate how we choose to show up. They can, if we're unaware of it. If we choose to live an outside in life, meaning I see what's going on around me, therefore I feel this way. Or, and this is where empowerment and you take back your power comes in, you say, regardless of the circumstance, I know what my vision is. I know that I've been holding to this feeling of an amazing relationship, and oh, here it is, this person. And now, even though this part of me does not feel ready, I'm holding true to it. I know, because I'm very much in alignment with my vision. I know the ins and outs of my vision. I don't know everything, and that's okay. I don't know how it's going to manifest, and that's okay. And I don't have to know every single step to get to my goal and dream. That's okay. Because at every step of the way, the universe is going to give you this maybe convenient and or not convenient step or opportunity. And it is up to you to know that it is okay to live an inside out life, meaning that you can feel confident regardless of what's going on around you. You see this opportunity and you say, okay, up until now, I did not feel confident and or secure and or ready to take this step, but this opportunity is here. I know my vision. I see my vision. I know that this is part of my vision. I know this because I am in alignment with it. I know that I see my vision, and now, even if it doesn't feel convenient, I'm going to take a step, because that is what shows the universe and yourself, most importantly, that you are the person that takes a step regardless of whether or not the timing feels right, of whether or not the money in your bank account feels perfect, of whether or not the person that you feel is the right person to take this step. And don't worry, because even if the entire how is not known to make your dream a reality, that is not your job. Something that someone told me is that it is our job as soulful beings having this radiant human experience in our specific life to become very crystal clear with what we want to see, because absolutely everything and anything is possible for you in this life. Anything you can think of. If you can think it, it's a possibility, because everything's created twice, first in thought, then in reality. So it's our job to become very specific with what we would love. That's why we come back to the question, what would I love? It's the universe's job to know the how. and it'll give us every step along the way. Another thing that comes to mind is in Indiana Jones, when he's about to step over the precipice and he has to make that step. But there is this huge cavern from getting him from one side of the cavern to the other. And there's no foreseeable way of getting there. He doesn't know how. And yet there's one part of him that says, if I just take a step, I know I will be supported. And each and every single time he has to take a step, and that's when the bridge appears. Not the entire bridge, but just one step to hold him up. And then he has to take the other step. And then that's when it appears. And then he has to take and trust that there's another step. And that's when it appears. And so the entire time he's walking across this cavern, this fantastic leap of faith. He doesn't know how, even when he's looking at it. And that's why the quote that comes up is people stop before they start, because they think they have to know the entire how of it is supposed to manifest before they start. But the thing is, the universe will never give you anything that you cannot handle. And know that you are connected to the infinite. You're not breathing yourself. You're not making one beat of your heart actually beat. There is a force that is breathing you, that is beating your heart, that is giving life to everything we see around us. Therefore, if you've been given this beautiful mental faculty of imagination and you can think it, it means it's a possibility. And even if you don't know the entire how, don't worry, because sometimes when we think we have the entire how of everything laid out, we're kind of doing that on the human level, and it won't be as fantastic, as great, as expansive as what the universe has in store, because there is about 8 billion of us on this planet, and we are all thinking things. We're all creating things. And there are things going on in our little circle that we are aware of. And there's this vast, 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 vast world that is constructing, creating, thinking, manifesting, manipulating things that are actually in favor for you. So when we become very in alignment with our vision, we know what it is. We've written it down. We know our health goals. We know our dreams for our relationships, time and money, freedom, vocation. We know this. We've written it down. We've resonated with it. We've been able to be very specific, and we think about it all the time. We know this. And now we serve it with an action. And delay will stop us. And the next one is distraction will stop us if we let it. So distraction is also a very fun one. Distraction tells us that there are more important things to do than what we're doing right now. And it will give us everything, and I mean everything, to keep us away from those priorities, those needle moving activities, and those actions that will actually serve in bringing about our dreams. So one thing that I have in my mind is often when the laundry is done, or when the dishes are done, or when my bed is made, or da 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 da. So there are certain things that keep me busy. For sure, they keep me busy, and I feel very productive. And I'm like, okay, no problem. Like, I will start this podcast. I'll write my book. I'll do some training and or whatever when the dishes are done, because ooh, I love having a clean house. I feel so much better, and I'll feel great once my house is clean. And then I'll write the book. Then I'll do the podcast. Then I'll da 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 da. And distraction can be very, very easy, I'll say up until now, because we're aware of it, to keep us from actually doing the things that prioritize the bringing about of our dreams. So, in order to help overcome distraction, again, we're clear with our vision. So, again, we'll bring it back. We know our vision. We know our vision because we've been clear with our longing and discontent. We've written down what we want to see in our life. Well, I know I don't love working 40 or 50 or 60 hours a week. What would I love? Well, I'd love 10 hours a week. Okay, amazing. So what would it look like to bring this about? And I know for my health, I know that I don't love feeling tired and lethargic and weak and just all these other things. We're aware of our longing and discontent. And now we're aware of our vision because we've been able to write everything down. Again, resonate with it. Resonating is a very important thing because it keeps our fire of desire going. And also, we've been able to know what activities will bring about our dream. So, when we are aware of belonging discontent, we are aware of our vision, then we know what things will serve our vision and will not. So, say we'll use the example of a business, and I'll use my own. So I know that in order to continue to forward my business and to continue to connect with everybody and to continue to learn and grow and be a part of the social media world, I know that probably doing dishes is not the most important thing on my list in terms of forwarding my business. So I know that in terms of my mental health, absolutely doing dishes is important to me. But if my main priority, and again, priority is important right now, is building my business, dishes can wait. Dishes will take like 5-10 minutes. If I make them really, really important, sure, I can do the dishes. That's fine. But if I do the dishes and I'm like, now there's laundry, and oh, now I want to like mow the lawn, and oh, now I just like want to have a shower because I feel dirty, whatever it is, those activities are not really a priority in terms of my vision of forwarding my business. So becoming clear with the vision of what you would love to see, some action steps to take, then you know which ones to prioritize. Okay, I know that the forwarding of my business comes from interacting with people and making podcasts. I would love that. It's part of my vision. I see it. So I must do it. Well, I don't have to do it. I would love to do it. But I know that if I don't do it, it's not an action step that will actually forward my business in, growing it. But again, our longing and discontent says, man, I'd really love to forward my business. My longing content says, man, I would really love to have the person of my dreams in my life, this amazing relationship. But the things that we choose to prioritize in our life to help distract us from the things that we actually want to do comes from actually getting in alignment with what we would actually love to see. And if that's in your relationships, time and money freedom, health, your vocation, becoming clear with it is a really important step to actually know what is in alignment with your vision and what's not. Part of this is also setting clear boundaries with yourself. So when you're very understanding of what you're choosing to prioritize and what you're not, there will be things that come up that will feel very, very important to you because that's the paradigm. You are about to step into the unknown. There is the electric wire fence that you're rubbing up against, and things like, this is not important right now, or this is the most important thing right now. And you're like, you got to do this, or before you do this. And if you do not do this, then this, that, and the other. And it will give you, your mind will give you every single reason to not do the thing, even though you know that doing the thing, whatever it is, will help bring about your dream. When saying, oh, it's not important right now to go to the gym. It's not important. You haven't done it up until now. Let's do something else. It is a better thing to do the dishes than go to the gym. And then you realize this and say, hello, paradigm, I see you. And even though up until now, I recognize that I prioritized working or doing the dishes or my friends or my family. Those are all great things to prioritize, by the way. And you can have both, and it can be a part of your vision, should you love. But if there's some things that are coming up that says, don't do it yet, do other things, it's more important. You have to be aware of them in order to say, I see you. I recognize you, distraction, trying to keep me away from my dream, tricky, tricky. I'm going to take it anyways. Again, even if it's only for 5 minutes, even if it's the tiniest step, I'm still going to take it, because if you write it down in your calendar and say, oh, right, I was going to go to the gym today, even though maybe up until now I prioritized doing something else. No, I know this is part of my vision. I know that this is something that I would really love. And distraction, I see you, but actually I'm choosing to make this a priority. So being intentional, seeing the boundaries and honoring them, because you build so much more self-respect with yourself when you, again, for myself, I love to write it down. If I want to make something a priority, I write it down in my agenda. I'll bold it if I really, really want to make sure that I do it. And then I'll make sure to, again, give myself some praise, tap myself on the head, whatever it is that is going to just bring and raise about my spirits of gratitude, of celebration, of proudness pride, of pride, then do it, because the distraction will want you to do something else and you can still do all those things. But making that action step first, your number one priority, will help actually take your dream from a maybe to an absolutely, because you've already stepped into it. And the final one is dissuasion. Dissuasion is also a tricky one. This is the one that maybe you have been thinking about in the background of your brain, but up until now, it has been running rampant in your brain. But now you're bringing it to the light, because dissuasion is the one that tells you your dream isn't important. You're not ready for it. It is not really something that you should do right now, because you know what? I'm content with life. I'm super happy working 40 hours a week. I don't really want to work 10 hours a week. Like, I would love that, of course. But you know what? Like, working the job that I have, even though like I'm not really happy in it, but it pays good money. And I would love to have like this kind of financial like income, that kind of thing. That's dissuasion, because it is okay to be comfortable. We are all allowed to be comfortable. That is actually part of life. If we're comfortable all the time, fight or flight kind of kicks in, and that's kind of the opposite of what we want as well. However, good is the enemy of great. And if you're listening to this podcast, it means that there is a part of you that is actually calling out for greatness. That yes, it is okay to be comfortable in life. And yes, your paradigms maybe up until now have said it's okay to not do this right now. Don't worry about actually manifesting your dreams. It's really not a big deal. Someone else will do it and that's fine. Like, they can bring it about it, and I'm happy with my life. But the thing is, do you want to be content, or do you want to know that in your life you tried and actually made your dream come true, and you are absolutely, without a doubt, 100% in love with your life? Because you're going to lay down your head for the last time eventually. But do you want to know that at the end of your life, you said, I tried. Man, it was uncomfortable sometimes, but I did it. Wow, am I ever in love with my life? Every day I wake up and I'm full of energy and vitality. Every day I wake up well rested and full of radiant expression. Every day I wake up whenever I want, and I get to see the people I love, because I have all the time and money in the world, because I made it happen, because I had a dream and goal, and I became very in tune with my longing and discontent. And do you know what I did? I got clear with my vision of what I would actually love. And do you know what I did? I became clear with my priorities. And do you know what I did? I took baby action step after baby action step after baby action step towards creating the life that I see and am living right now. And man, am I ever in love with my life. I have the most amazing relationship. I love this person dearly. They lift me up and I feel amazing. I have the best vocation in my life, and I give back, because what I'm doing fills me with so much life and joy, that I am able to share my talents and wisdom and love with the world. And I love doing it. And do you know what I have? I have amazing health and amazing money in the bank. And even besides all of that, I allowed myself to have it, because I said no to the comfortable. I said no to the content. I said I wanted the best life ever, because I am here and I am alive and I am right now. That I didn't know what was going to happen in the future, but I chose to make the future a possibility for me in every which way that I wanted it to happen, because I am a unique expression of this infinite universe. And I know that I am meant to be here, because I'm not even breathing myself. I can't make one beat of my heart actually go. There's something out there and all around us and within me that is keeping me alive, keeping everyone else I love alive. And there was a calling, and I answered that call. I answered my longing and discontent, and I chose to take these action steps in service of my dream, because I wanted to live the best life I could ever have. Because one day I will lay my head down for the very last time. And when that comes, I know that I did everything in my power to actually make it come true, and I allowed it to come true. I got support to make it come true. And I also love myself so much that I chose to give up good for great. So dissuasion will tell you that it's okay for your dream not to come true. Dissuasion will tell you that it's okay to work 40, 50, 60 hours a week, maybe, because what you really wanted was 10 hours, but it wasn't really for you. Dissuasion will tell you that. But do you know what you will say to it? You will say, I'm choosing to give up good for great because I'm deserving. I'm choosing to give up good for great because I love the idea that even though I may not know the entire how, I know the how is no. And I'm choosing to make agreement with the idea that everything and anything is possible. And I just have to take a step and then another towards something I actually want to do in life, towards knowing that I can wake up absolutely every single day and say, wow, I love my life. I love where I'm at in life. I love knowing that I am continuously expanding my life. And even though right now it seems like my dreams are X amount of years away, that's okay, because it's also my choice to feel exactly how I want to feel, and the choice to feel empowered, and the choice to feel encouraged, and the choice to feel in love with your life is a choice that you can actually put on right now. Delay, distraction, and dissuasion are paradigms that will keep you down, safe, and comfortable with where you are right now if you aren't aware of them. But now you have the tools, because we're here together and talking about it together, to actually be aware of them. Because the first step is always awareness. If you aren't aware of something, you can't change it. And now you're aware of the little electric fence around you that will come up every time you try to take a step towards the dream that is keeping you in your expansion and stretch mode. And right now you may be in your comfortability mode, and that's okay. Because when you're aware, when you rub up against that electric fence and you get fear, doubt, worry, distraction, do it later. You're not worthy. It's not for you. That's okay. And if for some reason you choose to make agreement with your paradigms and then you find yourself just kind of back in your rut, or what I call a ditch, we all get there. We're all there at some point. It's part of life. Because whenever we're in those ditches, we just learn and choose to climb out of the ditch faster and faster and faster. And we wait a shorter and shorter amount of time before we climb out. And then we're actually living our dream again. So that's why, one, where's your longing and discontent? Fuel your fire of desire of actually why you want what you want. It's your soul's purpose to grow, but there's also something calling you for something greater. The more you get in touch with it, the more it's going to fuel you to actually take those steps. Distraction, what is your priority? Making priorities, setting boundaries, and saying no to the ones that are trying to keep you away from those needle moving activities. When you become even more in touch with them, you know that the action steps you take are going to serve your dream and bring it about even faster, even faster, even faster. And the paradigm that says it's okay for you to live a content life. It's okay that it never happens. You know that you're going to say, I give up the good for the even greater still, because I'm worthy, because I'm deserving, because I know that I am the here and now, and life is calling me to do something even greater still. Thank you all so much for tuning in today and being a part of some very mindful, awakening paradigms that are not here to be a menace. Paradigms are actually really important. They will keep you down if you are not aware of them, but you are now. And the more in tune you become with your vision, the more aware you are of your paradigms and everything going on unseen. They're meant to rise up in order to be repatterned. So just letting you know, they will come up. don't fret, don't worry, because as soon as they come up, it means you are actually on the brink of something extraordinary. It's the next evolution of your becoming. And so I honor you and the steps that you are taking already just by being here, about listening to your longing and discontent and asking yourself, what would I love? Because it is the most brave and courageous thing that you can do. And it is beautiful to watch, not only from me to you, but watching yourself grow and become the person that says yes to your life. Thank you all for joining me today, and I trust, hope, and expect that you all are going to have the most amazing, vibrant, and wonderful day. And for whatever you guys get up to, wherever you are at in your day, I hope that is amazing, life fulfilling, and full of expected and unexpected miracles. And until the next time, I look forward to talking with you all real soon. Thank you all for joining me today, because it is my absolute pleasure to be here with you. I have some very exciting news to offer that will help take your evolution of self to the next level. I'm certifying myself as a life mastery consultant and offering a dream building program in the coming months. For those of you that are ready to live the life you have always loved and wake up every day to say, wow, I love my life, I'm offering a free one-on-one vision coaching session to give you a sneak peek at what is in store for you. I'm also creating a wait list for those of you big dreamers that are ready to up-level your life with me guiding you the entire time. If this sounds like a heck yes, I have the email perfectlypowerfullyu@gmail.com that will also be linked in the description box below to book a session and get started. Until then, I trust, hope, and expect that you all have an amazing day. May your day be filled with only love and light, and I look forward to talking with you all and seeing you all very soon.